Welcome to Learn to Crochet with Daisy. In today's lesson, we will learn how to start a circle. There are two ways of beginning a circle, with a chain loop or with a magic circle. And while making the circle, there are two ways to work the rows, ending them with a slip stitch or working in continuous rounds. In today's tutorial, we will see how to begin with a chain loop and how to finish our rows with a slip stitch. To begin, let us make a chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now insert the hook into the very first chain and make a slip stitch. Now we have our ring to begin the circle. In this video, I'm going to be working with DCs. To make our first DC, I'm going to make a chain 3. If you remember our DC lesson, to start a new row with DC, we chain 3. I want 12 DCs in my first row. Since the chain 3 replaces the first stitch, I only have to make 11 more DC into the ring we made. Here's my very last stitch. To finish this row, I will slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 we made. Insert your hook into the top like this and make a slip stitch. Since we're making a flat circle, we have to increase in the next row. In row 2, we will make 2 DC in each stitch from the previous row. So chain 3. This is our first stitch. We need 2 DC in the first stitch, so let us make 1 more DC in the same place. This is our first increase. Now increase in each stitch, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So here is my last increase. Now let's make a slip stitch into the top of the chain stitch. Now moving on to row 3. In this row, we will increase in every alternate stitch. So this is our first stitch. Increase in the next stitch. One and 2. So let's do that again. So 1 DC in the next stitch, 2 DC in the next stitch. So keep doing this, making 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 1 stitch, 2 stitch in each DC, and I will meet you at the end of this row. So here's my very last increase. And slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 in the beginning. Now let's see how to do row 4. In row 4, we will make 1 DC in the first 2 stitches and increase in every 3rd stitch. So chain 3, one DC, and increase. So let's do that again. 1 DC, 1 DC, 2 DC, 1 DC, 1 DC, 2 DC. So keep working like this throughout this row, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. Here are my last 3 stitches. So 1 DC, 1 DC and 2 DC. And let's slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. Let us see what we've done so far. Our ring was a chain 5 and a slip stitch in the first chain. Round 1 was 12 DC in the ring, so 12 DCs. Round 2 was DC increase in each stitch, so 24 stitches. Round 3 was 1 DC in one stitch and then DC increase in the next stitch. So we repeated that 12 times. So we got a total of 36 stitches. Row 4 was 1 DC in the next stitch, next 2 stitches and a DC increase. So 1 DC, 1 DC, DC increase. So we did that 12 times and we got 48 stitches. So I'm sure you can see the pattern over here. Firstly, we are adding 12 stitches in each row. So row 1 was 12 DC, row 2 was 24, row 3 was 24 plus 12, 36, and row 4 was 36 plus 12, 48. Secondly, we are moving the increases in each row. So row 1 was 12 DC in the ring, row 2 was increase in every stitch, row 3 was increase in every second stitch, row 4 was increase in every third stitch. So this formula will keep repeating. So row 5 will be increase in every fourth stitch and row 6 will be increase in every fifth stitch. You can keep going on like this as long as you want to. So this is how we make a flat circle. So keep practicing this by trying out different stitches. In the next lesson, we will see how to make a magic circle and work in continuous rounds. Happy hooking!